First tonight, it is truly the end of an era as Hulk Hogan, the 80s superstar who helped take pro wrestling mainstream, has died. The Hulkster, whose real name was Terry Bollea, died this morning after suffering cardiac arrest. Police said he passed at the hospital at 11:17 a.m. It has been said that America has many celebrities, but very few true stars. Hulk Hogan was certainly one. His influence extended far beyond the wrestling ring. He became an all-American cultural icon, an entertainer whose theatrics and horseshoe mustache made him a household name. Standing at 6'7" and weighing more than 300 pounds, Hulk Hogan was known for his signature bright yellow trunks and his bandana. He launched WrestleMania with Mr. T and Muhammad Ali. He body slammed Andre the Giant at Michigan's Superdome in front of tens of thousands of Hulkamaniacs. He starred in big Hollywood movies like Rocky III, portraying the towering Thunderlips. He even had his own Saturday morning cartoon show and starred in cereal commercials.
That's better than a body slam.
Undefeated.
And still champion.
It's a honey oven oat, it's Nut Cheerios.
Hulk Hogan officially retired from professional wrestling in 2012, but a high-profile lawsuit kept him in the headlines. He won a landmark defamation case against the website Gawker in 2016, related to the publication of a sex tape. His victory in court helped put Gawker out of business. Hogan then entered the political ring in his final years. He supported President Trump and became a MAGA star as well as a megastar, famously ripping his shirt off at the 2024 Republican National Convention.
And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
President Trump, who famously had his own moments in the wrestling ring, posted on social media today, "We lost a great friend, the Hulkster. Hulk Hogan was MAGA all the way. Strong, tough, smart, but with the biggest heart. He gave an absolutely electric speech at the Republican National Convention that was one of the highlights of the entire week. He entertained fans from all over the world, and the cultural impact he had was massive." Hulk Hogan was 71 years old. Our first guest tonight knew him well, both in and out of the ring. Diamond Dallas Page is a retired professional wrestler, a WWE Hall of Famer, and three-time WCW heavyweight champion. He once teamed up with Tonight Show host Jay Leno to take on Hulk Hogan. He's now an inspirational speaker and creator and CEO of the DDP Yoga. Great to have you here. So, first of all, I want to get your reaction to this sad news today. Was it a surprise?
Yeah. And immediately, it took my breath away when I first heard it. And it didn't really sink in until I was writing how I felt about Hulk on one of my social media posts. And to me, he was one of the guys who helped lifted me up. You have to understand, I didn't start wrestling until I was 35, and my career didn't take off until I was 40. And that guy, he helped, give me that opportunity.
What was it like to headline a main event with him, to be in the ring with him?
Well, one of the fascinating things, WrestleMania 6, I would drive the car of Rhythm and Blues, Honky Tonk, and Greg the Hammer Valentine, Jimmy Hart to the ring. I was a manager at the time in the AWA. 8 years later, I would headline with me against Goldberg and Hulk against the Ultimate Warrior 8 years later. That's how crazy wrestling, can be. And when you put the work in, Hulk came up to me very early on in my career, and he said, "Whatever you're doing, brother, keep doing it, because it's not this year or next year or the year after, but somewhere down the line, I believe you have the ability to draw huge money with me." And he walked away. And to be truthful, Elizabeth, all I could think about, did Hulk Hogan just tell me he watched my matches? And the beautiful thing about that is 4 years later, Rodman was coming in for the second time to aligned with him in the NWO, Hulk in the NWO. And I had a very good friend of mine named Carl Malone. And Carl Malone played for the Jazz, and they both, Rodman and Jazz, like they fought it out there was times they were almost shooting angles of what the feud was going to be like later. And at the end of the, of course, the Bulls won, but me and Carl Malone against Hogan and Rodman turned out to be the second biggest drawing pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah, I think, folks in our audience who might not be WWE fans, let's fill them in a bit on how big this sport is and on how big Hulk Hogan is. It's been said he was one of the most famous people literally in the world.
Yeah, I would say if you took a Q rating of people who would be recognizable, Muhammad Ali would be right there at the top. Hulk's not far behind him. And wrestling is, in our day, like Hulk was a big star in the 80s. I came on the 90s, and Hulk was an even bigger star in the 90s. Like he set all different records of being as a top guy, a top performer in our business. And and along with all of my other brothers who paved the way for this new generation of guys that are on Netflix. And Netflix is, now it's the world. It's always been the world, but now they're selling out Paris, in 7 minutes. They're selling out Berlin in 12 minutes. Like it's all over the entire world. And everything started with Hulk. Hulk and Vince McMahon getting together, and they just changed. They changed the not just wrestling landscape, but the pop culture landscape.
Right, that's what it was not just a sports influence that he had. It was a massive cultural influence. When was the last time you spoke to him?
I actually, he sent me a text about I'd helped a guy named Butterbean, famous fighter. I helped him get back, and he sent me the most loving text, about what I'm doing today and helping people, and that he was very proud of me. So, we went back and forth with a couple of texts. I didn't talk to him probably in about a year. I think it was about a year. We were doing WWE Legends, and Hulk came in with his wife Sky, and we sat down, had a good talk.
There's the Hulk Hogan everybody grew up with, the wrestling star, the movie star, the reality TV star. What would surprise people the most about the Hulk Hogan they didn't get to see, the one you knew on a personal basis? You knew him personally. How different was he from the larger-than-life character the rest of the world knew?
For me personally, he helped me a lot. Like, again, starting at 35, my career didn't take off till 40. He saw it in my late 30s, and he would smarten me up as I went along to, keep doing this, don't do that, and he saw that somewhere down the line we could draw money, and he was always looking for the next guy. I love this picture that's up there right now with him doing a diamond cutter sign. We were at a WrestleMania. I'm like, oh, let's get a picture together, and he throws up the diamond cutter. And he was a tough guy, when it came to business tactics. But when it came to who he was as a man to me, he was always very giving, had a heart of gold. And, I will never forget what he did for me, because you just don't go from where I was to the top of the world without help from others. And Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Randy Savage, Eric Bischoff, and that guy right there, Hulk Hogan, of course, my man, Dusty Rhodes, too. It takes, you just don't get to the top in our world without creating relationships.
Yeah, it wasn't just you. There were many people he helped along the way.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And again, he was always looking for that next guy that could grab the people's attention. And, when he turned heel or bad guy with the NWO, that completely changed everything. I mean, because fans didn't know what was real and what wasn't. And that's the beauty of wrestling. You just don't know. And I'm not talking about who wins and loses. Mm-hmm. That's a show. That's predetermined.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is the storylines, so many of them are based in reality. And then you get into what's real and what's not. And to me, Hulk, as far as I was concerned, had a heart of gold when it came to me personally. And I'll never forget him for it, because it allowed me to live a dream. And I can still, it gave me that base level of fans who believed in me with what I'm doing with DDP Yoga today. And Hulk made all that possible.
Yeah, we should say. Looking at you, Dallas, I'm a little surprised to hear about DDP Yoga and that this is the thing you're doing now, helping folks, because you don't look like the yogis I see in most yoga studios. But this is why actually he reached out to you a few years back to say how proud he was that you were helping so many people who've been through a lot of things, both physically and emotionally, through the spirituality of the yoga practice. Dallas Page, great to talk to you. Thank you for sharing your message, your memories of your friend who the world is mourning tonight. Very sad news. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. He will be missed. Much love.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.